Hello beautiful people of YouTube, welcome to Dom's Media Zone. In today's video I've decided to create a DaVinci Resolve 17 complete tutorial for beginners. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to take your video files that you can create using your phone or a camera and take all those files, upload them into DaVinci Resolve 17, and I'm going to show you how you can create a little short movie from beginning to end. So we're going to cover all the tabs available in DaVinci Resolve 17. I'm going to explain each one and show you how to use the features inside them all. I'm going to try to keep this tutorial as simple as I can and explain it as best as I can to you so that you can understand and that you can be on your way to creating your own movies. Now, this video can be a bit lengthy, so if you find that there's only certain parts that interest you, I have created indexes in the video below, so you will be able to skip to the chapters that are of interest to you. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy and I hope you learn a lot. Hello everyone and welcome to the DaVinci Resolve 17 tutorial for beginners. To get started, you're going to need to download the DaVinci Resolve 17 software. It is a free software for anyone that's starting out. This is a perfect solution to editing videos. I will put this link in the description below the video, but this is the website. Download the software. If you click it here, there it gives you DaVinci Resolve. You can choose your operating system. Once you've downloaded and installed the software on your computer, you will see this little DaVinci Resolve icon. This is where you will launch your software. But before doing that, I suggest putting all the videos that you want to edit or the video clips into one specific folder. So in this case, I've got all the videos that I'm going to use, the sound files, and some of the images that I will use in this tutorial in one folder, just so that it's easy to find once you're in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so go ahead and double click to open up DaVinci Resolve. You'll see DaVinci Resolve is starting now. Once DaVinci Resolve opens, it will take you through to the starting panel. This is where you can manage all your ongoing projects and your past projects and even your future projects. You can start them off here and save them, and they will show up here as these kind of files. You can change the view of this. So by clicking over here, you can have a list, or you can have icons. Nice thing is you can create folders for your project. So for example, I've got all my ongoing projects in the in progress folder. You could create a new folder by clicking down here. So if I click on this and I can create a folder, call it complete project. So if you create that, it will give you a new folder called complete, where you can save your projects that you're done with. On the left hand side, you will see this local database. This is where all your projects are stored. You don't really need to do much over here in the beginning. Okay, to start a new project, you'll need to click on the Untitled Project tab, or you can click down here for New Project. So what I usually do is just double click on this, and this opens up your main DaVinci Resolve workspace. So now if you can bring your attention down here to this ribbon down here, I'll just take you through each one of these quickly. So you can think of this as kind of how your workflow should go. So you will start over here from the left hand side and work your way through the project through each one of these tabs. In the beginning, you will not be using all these tabs, but I will briefly give you an explanation of what each one does. So the first one you've got here is called the Media tab. This is where you will start your project. So this is where you will import all your media files, like your movie files and your sound files and your images into your project. All the files that you want to work with, you will use this Media tab to import them. The next one is the Cut tab. In this tab, you will basically be able to shorten the clips and cut them up to how you like them to appear in your video. So if a clip is too long, you can go ahead and cut it up in this tab here. The next one is called the Edit tab. Now, the Edit tab is probably, in my opinion, one of the most important ones. This is where I do 95% of my work, I would say. And as a beginner, you will probably be spending most of your time in the Edit tab. The good thing to point out, which I will demonstrate a bit later on, is you can work immediately in the Edit tab, basically, and you could skip the Media and the Cut tab altogether. But I will show you that a bit later on. So the next tab over here is called the Fusion tab. And this is where you can apply special effects to your videos. We will briefly touch on this tab in this tutorial, but as a beginner, you probably won't be using this too much, but it is a very powerful tool and a lot of options are in there. The next tab you've got is the Color tab. This is where you can adjust the color and the contrast and the brightness of your videos. So over here, you can correct all the colors and how you want the video to appear. The next tab is called Fairlight. This is where you can edit all the sound to the video. So if you've got someone speaking in your video, you can choose to enhance the voice or make it lower, higher, different tones and pitches. Basically, you can do all the sound editing in this tab over over here. Finally, the last tab is called the Deliver tab, and this is the tab where you will now prepare your project for exporting. So once you're done with everything, this is the final tab you will use, where you will tell DaVinci Resolve what settings you want to use to export your video. We're going to start this tutorial with the Media tab. So if I go ahead and click on the Media tab, this is where you will be importing all your media that you want to work with in your project. So all your video files and your sound files. So let's find where I put my current folder with my video files. So if I click on my C drive, I've kept all my video files in a folder called DaVinci Tutorial, and here it shows you the video files that you want to work with. There's a little scroll button where you can make them a little bit bigger, or you could make them as a list, and that will show you a bit more details on here. I like to work with it like this. It also might help you to name the files in the kind of order you want them to appear in the video, but if you don't want to do that, have no fear, you can always sort them out by date and time created, which appears over here, and in this case that would give you the earliest to the latest if that's the order in which you want them to appear. Okay, so once you know which video clips you want to import, you can just simply grab one and drag it onto the media pool. But what I prefer to do is just delete this. So by pressing delete, you can remove it from the media pool, but I just press Ctrl A to select all the video files and the sound clips, because this folder is specifically for all the files for this project. So I'm going to grab them and drag them onto the media pool like that. Once the files are in your media pool, you can still preview them even before they're in the media pool. There's like a little preview window. You can press play and basically view your files or your movie that you've got. You can press stop, you can play it backwards, and that's how it pretty much works. With the preview, you can put the sound on. Now, just to point out, I've downloaded all these video clips for the purpose of this tutorial from a free website that's called Pexels. And the great thing about Pexels is it lets you download free videos and photos should you ever need to use them. So say you're making a video and it needs a clip of this island, you could go to this website and get a clip of this island from above. So you wouldn't have to worry about buying a drone and actually going and filming the island. So this is a great website. It's called Pexels. I will put a link in the description. Once you find the video that you like, you can just click free download and the video is yours for free. Coming back to DaVinci Resolve, that's where I got the video clips from. I'm happy that I'm going to be working with these, so I can go ahead and jump to our next tab now, which is the Cut tab. The Cut tab is used to take your videos and cut them up into pieces to appear how you would want them to appear in your final video timeline. Don't worry if you don't know exactly yet, because most of the fine tuning will be done in the Edit tab, but for the purpose of this, let me just show you at least two of them in the Cut tab. So if I've got a video here of this scene, and this is my video number 1, so I want to start my video of perhaps with this scene here. What I can do is just press play. Now you'll notice this video is quite long, so I don't want the whole video to appear as my intro. If I want to start the video from, say, somewhere here, I would press I in my keyboard, and as you can see, it shortened that over here. And then I want to end my video somewhere here, I'll press O on my keyboard and I can press stop. As you can see, it selected this little piece of my video. What I can do now, the easiest thing to do, this is your timeline where your videos will appear. So the easiest thing is just click on your left mouse button, hold the video down and drag it all the way down. And what it will do, it will move just that piece, that short clip that we just selected into your timeline. So you can see here, this is from 0 to about 4, just under 6 seconds. So it's just over 5 seconds long. So if I press play now, it shows you the amount of time that we've selected for our clip. So that's clip 1. I only wanted to use that part of the clip. Let's pick clip 2 of this man here with his skateboard. Quite a funky guy, and he'll be doing some skateboarding in our movie today. So once again, what I can do is just press play. But as you notice, the red thing just stays where we were the last time. It kind of retains that. So I'll just move this to the beginning and then I'll press play. And let's say I want to cut the video around here. If you want to start it from the beginning till around here, you don't have to put I to start off with, but you do have to tell it where to end with the button O. Once you press O on your keyboard, you'll get this will be our video clip now, the length of it. And what we can do is we can do what we did before, drag and drop it. Or another way to do this would be to select this button here, which is append. So what it will do is just make sure this red marker is at the end of the previous clip, because that's where it will put your new clip in. So if you click on that red marker, it will show you the previous clip. So you might have to double click that again and then just say insert the clip here. So now we've got our view and then it switches to the man with the skateboard. This is one way to edit your project. A lot of people do it this way. It honestly is a good way to do it because you can go see all your clips in one place and you can double click them and select where you want to begin and end, and then you can just insert your videos into your timeline. That can also be done in the editing tab, which I will show you in a second. Another thing to point out here is you can see two different timelines. So the bottom one is where you can control the little red marker where you can place it exactly where you want to see what frame it's on. And then the other way is on top here. This is a much quicker way. So if you've got a really long project going on, you can just use this one to move between the scenes much faster than using this one. This one can be a bit slower, and the top one is really fast. So you can just skim through your whole project. If you've got lots of files, it's easier to use the one on top. Okay, so for now we've done our two clips. Let's move on to the edit tab where we can insert the rest of the clips in the edit tab. So if I click on the edit tab, this now shows you the edit tab with all your video clips. Once again, you can switch this over to view or list. Now in the edit tab, I usually work with list, but you can work with whichever one is easiest for you. Now don't get overwhelmed by all these buttons here. They are quite easy to use and I will explain them now. So as you see, your video timeline now moved up here. So we still have our clip that we put earlier, and we can use this little scroll bar to go to the right, and we can still see where our video joined to the next clip. So right at the end of this video, what we'll do now is we want to get our third video, which is this one of this man skateboarding. So now this man is he's going to the skate park. He's very excited. And what we'll do is we'll put a bit of this video. So just to show you what I usually do is I take the video file and I drag the whole video into this and attach it. Now what that does is it attaches the whole full video clip without being cut into my video. And then from here, what I can do is I can press play, starts previewing, and say I want to end this clip about now. So once he did the little stand, I want to end the clip. The easiest thing to do now would be to take this little razor blade. As you see here, you've got these buttons. There's a little razor blade which cuts the clips up here. So you can easily cut your clip here. So if I press the razor blade and back to my pointer, if I move this red thing away, you can see it created a cut between my clips. Now, if you want to see all your clips a little bit further apart, because it's difficult if you just keep scrolling, if you've got a really long project, what you can do is there's a little zoom in and zoom out button here, the minus and the plus. If I click on the minus a few times, it makes it much easier to see all my clips. So we've got our little intro clip, the man with the skateboard, and the man skating. Say we don't want this last piece because we cut it out. All we do now is hold with our mouse and drag it over the part we don't want, and we can either click delete or backspace. There is a difference between the two, which I will show you now. So if we click delete, that clip is gone. But now say, for example, we decided we don't want to start this clip exactly from that place. So let's say we want to start it from somewhere here where he just starts already and is on the skateboard. So what we'll do is now I took the razor and I created a little cut in the video clip. I can take the pointer, highlight this part. This is the difference between delete and backspace. If I click delete, it will delete that little part and it will move the file up to the previous one. Now if I undo that, so you can go edit undo or Control Z on your keyboard. So if I undo that and I highlight this again, and if I click backspace, you'll see that it leaves a little space apart. So if I play this video, it's got a gap in it. So say, for example, you wanted to insert a piece of another video into between these two, you could use backspace. And then once you cut your video up, you can insert that piece into this missing block. So now say, for example, you don't need this space again, just left click into it, right click, ripple delete, and it joins them again. Another thing to point out is over here, you've got these two tracks. So this is the video track and this is the audio track. So let's just make the audio track a little bit bigger. You can drag these down. Nice thing in DaVinci Resolve is you can have multiple video tracks and multiple audio tracks. So you can have a song playing in the background with some voiceover, whatever basically you choose. It's a great software. You can get super creative over here. These videos that I chose, even though they do show that it's got some audio, they don't have audio. I specifically chose ones without audio is because if I pushed play, it would play the sound, which could be a bit distracting. So I chose a video that doesn't have any sound, but we are going to put some songs over the video so that we can see how it looks together at the end with some music in it. Okay, now that we've done that, let's do our other clips just to show you how quickly this can be done. So I've got my clip number 4 and I'm going to push play. And this clip is of the skate park now. Now the man's arrived at the skate park. So I'm going to stop it here, clip it here, select that, delete, and I move on to the next one, which is clip number 5. Now I've got a clip of these little clouds, so let me put the clip number 5 in, And the clip of the clouds didn't have a sound file. So as you can see here, this one had no sound, but it did have some kind of sound channel that was probably muted when they made the video. This one wasn't made with any sound in it. So that's why you don't see the green here. Do not worry about that. We're going to remove all the sound from here anyways. If I press play, shows these clouds, and maybe just 2 seconds of the clouds is enough. We just want that to break the 2 video clips up. I'm going to press delete and move on to video number 6. Now you're getting the idea. So video number 6 shows the man starting to skateboard, and he's having fun and he's trying to do tricks. But now this man's kind of blocked our shot, so let's get rid of him. So there we can cut our video clip right over here. And gone. Next one, video number 7, and we're almost there. Shows this man having some fun and skateboarding. So he's busy doing his skating tricks, and he's skating into the sunset. And let's cut the clip right here. So say we just want to remove the end, press delete, that clip is gone. And the last one that we have is here. So we just drag that on. And the last clip is of this man holding his skateboard. He's had some fun. He's proud of himself. He's done a good job and had a good day. And there we go. Let's end it right there. So we can cut again, highlight, delete. And that's how easy it is to put together a video from your video clips. Now you can get super creative. You can cut clips, insert other clips in between. It's really fun and easy to do. And you will have lots of fun using the software, especially if you're doing things like your family videos or any cool videos you might have made that you want to keep. This software is what I use to edit my YouTube videos with, and it's really, really priceless. I'm surprised that this software is for free. I really have to thank the DaVinci Resolve team for releasing such a premium software for no charge at all. Okay, the next thing to show you in the edit tab where we still are is if I select a video clip. Say for example, we're on this video clip of the city view. If I select it, you'll see over here on the top corner, this whole panel gives you the settings of this specific selected clip. So currently you can see it's zoomed just normal 1, so it's no zoom at all. And the position is 0 and 0 on the X and Y axis, and it's not rotated. It's got all these little settings where you can crop the image, where you can adjust a lot of things. You can double click these, they open up, and it gives you all sorts of settings for this video clip. So I'm not going to go into all these settings in here, but for example, I'll give you an example. Say you wanted this clip to be zoomed in. All you do is grab here with the mouse and hold down the left button and move your mouse a bit to the right. And now if we go back to the beginning and play our clip, it's all zoomed in. Now the position one is quite important as well. So say we want to show a bit more of the sky or go left to right, you can use this X position, go left and right, and you can use this one to go up and down. So say we want to show a little bit of the sky there, maybe a bit less, just to show the bridge a bit. There we go. Say we're happy with that. And if you push play, now your clip in the end result, if you leave the settings like this, will look like this zoomed in, which is really kind of neat. And another thing to show you the rotation angle, you can move your things like this. If you're not happy with the result, you can just undo over here. This is the undo button. Okay, I would encourage you to play around with these settings. They're really great. There's some really good stuff here. You can still do like audio in here and adjust things for the video, but the audio you can also do in the Fairlight tab, which I will show you a little bit later on. Coming back to our videos now. So we've got our video of the scenery, and then immediately we've got our guy walking with his skateboard, and now he starts skating. And now here's the skate park. But now say, for example, we wanted to create a bit of a transition between this clip and this clip so that it's not so sudden. What you can do on the left-hand side here in DaVinci Resolve, you've got things like the toolbox where you can apply video transitions, also audio transitions. So let's show you what a video transition is. So say, for example, we want to put a transition between these two clips. If you just hover over this, it will give you kind of like a preview of what the transition would look like. So from there, if we apply this one, the video will end like that and go like that. If we use this one, for example, it will change over like that. If we use this one, it will blur out. So it's really nice because you can preview before you apply it. So say we want to, let's use this one. So if I want to drag this transition, all I do is I position it on this clip. And if I go back a bit and play, let's go back a little bit more and play just to show you what it looks like. See, it transitioned quite nicely and smoothly into the next clip. Another thing just to show you is, say for example, we're playing this, but we want to see what it would look like with a bigger picture. You can press P on your keyboard, and this will give you a full screen preview of your video. So the P will give you the full view so you can see what the video looks like in full screen. Now to exit this, just press escape. Now that we've pressed escape and we've got our video clips together, let's try put in a little song into the video. So to put a song into this video, I've downloaded some music over here. There's two ways of doing this. So one is, say for example, we just want to drag our audio. What we can do is drag it all the way down. So now if you've noticed, I dragged the song onto the timeline, and what it's done is it created an additional track called audio 2, and this is where the music is located. So track 2 is now, you can still expand it so you can actually see the music, where it goes, where the beats go. We've got our original audio on A1 and we've got our sound now on A2. If you've got a video where you're speaking and you want some soft music in the background, this is what you could do. And then what you can do on the audio files, if you see closely over here, there's like a little line, and if I hold this line and if I make it go up, the video will get much louder. If I make it go down, the video will go much softer. So now if I just play this, the music might not match right now, but you could get some music to match with your video. In this case, we're going to remove the original audio files because there was no one speaking in these anyway, so I will show you how to do that right now. As you notice, there's a little icon here in the bottom left corner of these video and sound clips. That means that this video and this sound clip are linked together. So if you try to move them, they will move together. Now, same thing with this one, it will move together. So what I want to do to remove the sound without deleting the video, I need to unlink these clips. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all of them, and you can select them all like that. I'm going to right click on it, and then you see here it says link clips. I'm going to click on link clips, and then I'm going to click on link clips again, and that unlinks your video clips. So now you can see that little symbol is gone. So your clips are now not linked to the sounds. So what I can do now to get rid of all this audio files, the easiest thing, if you want to get rid of the whole thing, you could just click here and delete this whole track. But if you just want to get rid of one, for example, you can use backspace, and that's one deleted. One more backspace, and that's two deleted. But I'm going to delete the whole track. So if I go delete track, you'll see now audio 2 becomes audio 1. So all we've got now is our video and the music. But as you notice, the music is slightly longer than our video. So our video ends here, but the music does not. So what I'll do, normally just clip the music a bit, select the rest, backspace to delete it, and now you're left with just the right length of music for our video. The next cool thing I want to show you on this edit page is the title. So if you wanted to give your video a title to start off with, on the left hand side here in the toolbox, you'll see an option called titles. If I click on this option called titles, this gives you a range of titles that you can start off with. If you hover over it, it shows you how which title would look. I'm just going to use a simple text file. So let's drag this above the clip where we want it. So if you see, I drag it in here. Now you can see our title is part of our video. Now moving this marker around will show you where in the video you are right now. Let's go back here and select this title file that's above our video clip. So we basically created a separate track for the video 2, which is now our title special effect. Once we selected this text effect box, you'll see on the top right hand side, you've got all the settings for this text box. So say we wanted to do a title. So let's name our video The King of Skateboarding. Okay, great. Now that we've got our title, we can now choose the size. So we can decrease or increase the size. So it's as easy as that to create a title. You can choose your font. Say you want to make it normal, and your font you want, let's say this one, English text. So I can change the color as well by clicking on the color, and I can say, for example, red, or you can see whatever looks good. So I'm just going to make it, let's say, I don't know, gold, yellow, and I'm just going to say okay. And now I want to position the text somewhere where it looks better. So what I can do is press the settings option, and over here, the same like our video options, you can now use the positions to move it left and right, or you can move it up and down. So let's say we move it all the way down, or should we put it, let's put it on the sky and change the color to something like red. So now if I play my video from the beginning with the music, if you notice over here in the top right and the top left corner is you've got these two little white corner boxes, and what you can do is click on this and drag it. Now if you drag it, you'll see this little line forming. So now if we play this again, let's see if you can spot the difference. Faded away instead of just disappearing. So it's kind of more like a smooth fade away than just a blunt cutoff. And the cool thing is you can do the same with the video. So say for example, we did that here. notice the color went a little bit black and faded up into the next clip. And that's a really useful tool as well to use right at the end of your videos. If you want to finish your video without a transition, you can just kind of fade it away. And the same goes for the music. So the music, you don't want it to abruptly just stop. You can kind of fade your music away. So let's have a look. And now that's how your video will end. Okay, I'm going to move on now to the next tab, which is the Fusions tab, which is where you can apply special effects to certain clips or whatever, your whole video even. For example, we wanted to do some stuff here. I'm not going to go into the details on the Fusion tab because it can be a little bit intimidating in the beginning when you're just starting out. But basically, if you select your video that you want to edit and you click on the Fusion tab, it opens up that specific video in the preview, and over here you've got two nodes. You've got media in and media out, and over here you've got like a range of things you can apply to this video. So if I hover my mouse over media in, you'll see two little dots here, and currently they're both black. So media in applies to this side of the video, media out is what will come out on the side. So if I click on the left one, it now shows me this is what the video going in looks like, and because I've got this one ticked already, this shows me what the finished product will look like once we apply special effects. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this tab, but just to show you an example. So if we wanted to, for example, play with the color curves, we could drag this down in between the nodes. Now you'll see the media node connects to this special effect here, which is our color curves. And then whatever effect is applied is going to come out of here and then go into our output. That's why this is the input and this is the output. Now our settings for our little node that we've inserted here are on this side. So say we drag the color curve a bit, you can see the color changing already. You can just kind of adjust the colors to how we want them. And we're happy with this. If we go back to our edit tab now, you'll notice that that special effect is applied and the color has indeed changed. Another cool thing you could do here, for example, if you wanted to blur the whole video for whatever reason or just a part of it, but let me just show you on the whole one, you could drag the blur node and add another node into here. Over here, the settings for the blur node, because that's the selected node, we could, for example, blur the video out by applying some blur to it. You've also got various other settings for the blur, such as the filter and the clipping mode and the blending and things like that. So if you did want to apply a blur, that's how you do it. And I know there is a way you can actually pick shapes and choose shapes, and you could blur someone's face and things like that. But for the purpose of this tutorial, this is as much as we're going to talk about in this fusion mode over here. So now if I go back to my edit mode, you can see that there's a little couple of stars on this track now. So on the specific video clip, you'll see some stars here, and that means that there has been some effects applied to this clip, just so you can tell the difference, which one you've already edited and which one you haven't. The next tab I'm going to show you is called the color tab. And the color tab is really cool because this is where you can chop and change the colors. If something in your video doesn't look right, you can apply extra contrast and brightness and things like that. So once again, you can edit your curves in here, so you can move the curve around to change it however you like it. But if you don't want to use that, because that can be a bit complicated if you're quite new to this, go over here on the left hand side, you'll see all these options here. So if you take a look, there's three dots here. That means there's three different panels here. So I usually work only in the first one if you're just doing very basic edits, first or third one perhaps. But let me just show you how they look. Over here I can change the temperature. So if you keep looking at the video, I can go from warm to really cold just by clicking in there and dragging my mouse left to right. Adjust it, or you can literally type in the value that you want. Put it back to 0. So here you can adjust your tint of the color, so you can change the tints. If you want to undo something, either press Ctrl Z on your keyboard or double click on that word tint. Okay, so now we're doing our contrast. This one I do use a lot, so I like to increase the contrast a little bit. Usually I don't use these too much, but you can play around with these and figure out what each one is. Don't be scared to play around because you can double click to undo it. At the bottom here you've got color boost. So say we wanted to add a little bit of extra color. I boosted the color. You can see his yellow shirt is now sticking out and it's more yellow shadows. You can make it a little bit darker. You can bring out the highlights a bit. Saturation also applies color. So if I increase the saturation a bit, there's the hue. I don't know what this one is, to be honest. And there you go. You can see already that the picture has changed a little bit in the color and everything. And now if I click on here, it will show me the before and after. So if I click it, it undoes everything. If I click it, it shows me the after. So you can also do things like change the lift, the gamma, and the gain. So for example, if I want to remove a certain color, I could, for example, take away some of the yellow and put some blue in or put some red in. And if you want to undo that, just click here. The gamma, same thing. You can adjust your gamma this way, and the gain as well. same thing. Now, another cool thing is here, for example, the gain. We wanted to gain some light. We can move this to the right. Or we can move this wheel to the left where it gets a bit darker. This is how you adjust those. So now I can just undo that and it goes back to what we had. This last one is the same principle. So you've got your tones, your midtones, your highlights, your shadows, and it's exactly the same thing. You can increase, decrease your shadows using this little wheel here. You can undo it that way. Let me adjust them a little bit. So let's make our shadows this way. And then your highlights, you can do the same, bring them out, move them back. So it's really cool. Play around with here until the video looks exactly how you want it to look. Now, one more thing to show you before we move on to the Fairlight, which is the sound tab, and that is if you click over here on clips, it will show you all the clips in your current timeline. And if you see over here above the clip we've been working on, there's like a little colorful square around it that's got all the colors. That shows us that we've done some editing to this clip already. You can see the other ones have like a gray square around them. That means those have not been edited yet. So if you don't want to individually apply these settings to each clip, what I can do now is I can just press Ctrl C on my keyboard to copy these settings, or I can click edit and copy. And now these settings are copied, and say I want to apply them to this clip as well. I can go Ctrl V on my keyboard on the Windows keyboard, or for example this clip, now I can go edit and paste, and it pastes the same properties. But now as you can see, this clip doesn't look as good as this one did with those same settings, because this clip was a bit darker, so you might not want to do that. So you can always go edit and undo, or Ctrl Z on your keyboard. Now once you're done editing this, you can see all these boxes with the color above it have some kind of settings applied to them. If I go back to my edit tab now, these clips do have the color applied. What we've done in the color tab now stays on these clips that we've changed. As you can see, that one's way too colorful, but yeah, our settings have stayed. Next thing, we're going to move on to the Fairlight or the sound editing tab. Now in this tab, I'm not going to go into too much details as well. I'll just show you the most basic settings, but basically we've got only our audio 1 track. So if we press play, you can see the little marker moving across the music, and you can see your left channel and your right channel. So over here, a nice thing to do, you can decrease your audio or increase it depending on how your sound sounds. So if we play this, and we're going to try increase it and decrease it just to show you how it looks. And there we go. I usually try to keep it somewhere here so it doesn't get too red on top. That's the most basic setting you can have. This audio thing is really cool because you've got things like effects that you can add here. You can add like vocal channels if you're speaking to make your voice sound a bit better and clearer. You've got instruments, you've got metering. There's a whole bunch of stuff, noise reduction, which you can add to your sound, but we are not going to go into one of these. But I can suggest to learn the Fairlight tab pretty well and all these options. There are lots of great videos out there, and depending on what your videos are going to be about, you can have a look at those. So if you're doing, for example, a YouTube tutorial where you're speaking, you might have different requirements to someone who's making a video that's got sound effects and music in it. So there's different settings you can apply to different situations. One more thing to show you here, you've got like an equalizer. So if you press on the equalizer, you could always play your sound. You like it the way it sounded now, you've got the equalizer, and the settings now match up to what you want. So you can change frequency of the different bands here. There's a whole lot to do in here. So for the purpose of this beginner's tutorial, I'm going to leave this part out, but your basics is here. Just increase the volume or decrease to however it sounds good to you, how you would like it to be heard when you're playing back your final video. Lastly, now we're going to go into our delivery tab. So this is the deliver tab. This shows you now the whole project timeline. This is what it's going to look like. It shows you everything we've done. So we've got our title, we've got our video clips, we've got our sound included, we've got our transition that we put in here that you can see. And what we want to do now is export our project to, say, an MP4 file, for example. If you take a look on the top left corner here, you've got different pre-built templates that you can use. So say, for example, you're using for YouTube, you could select this, even though I would not recommend using this option for YouTube. You might want to just use the custom one, because sometimes I have noticed this YouTube one can be a bit funny and it doesn't always give you the resolution you want. The rest of them I have not honestly tried. There's different ones for different platforms. I always use this custom one here. What I do is I name my video file. So for example, King of Skateboarding. Okay, over here you'll pick a location. So you'll click browse and you'll choose where you want the file to be stored. So in my case, I'm just choosing my desktop. And then if I scroll down, You want it to be a single clip or individual clips. If you choose individual clips, it will actually separate them and give you multiple videos. So we want one video, export video. Here you choose your format. So I usually stick to MP4, but these are different formats you can use. Codec, I usually leave it as the default codec. And then over here, you can choose your resolution. So for example, if you shot your videos in 4K, you could go and choose the Ultra 4K. If you're just happy doing 1080p, you can go 1080p and you can choose your frame rate. Normally this will match to what you shot your video in. So if you shot in 24 frames, take 24 frames. I'm going to leave this as a default just to show you. Here you've got quality. You can change this to best. Just keep in mind that your files will get bigger the better the quality, but I usually prefer it at the best. If it's a video that really means a lot to you, you do want it at the best quality. Encoding profile, usually leave this at auto, or I usually change it to high to kind of give me the best result possible. Now I don't usually use these advanced settings, but there are a lot more things here you can choose. There's subtitle settings, all sorts of things you can add to this video when you're exporting. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're not going to go into the advanced settings, and usually what I do when I export my YouTube videos, I just keep it on these settings here. Now what I'm going to do, once I'm happy with what I've chosen, I'm going to click here, add to the render queue, and you'll see at the end here, it will show us our Untitled Project Timeline 1 King of Skateboarding MP4. So what I'm going to do now is click render all, and this will now start exporting the project from DaVinci Resolve onto your desktop or whatever folder you specified. So let's go ahead and do that. Now it does take a bit of time depending on how large your files are. These are not that big and this is quite a short project. So as you can see, it's moving quite quickly. Now it's completed. It took 34 seconds. It tells you that. Before we go and watch our video that we've done, I just want to show you this project says Untitled Project, which means we didn't save it. If you want to save your project, just click File, Save Project, and then name it whatever you want. And once you do this, the next time you open DaVinci Resolve, your project will show up on the first starting panel project page. Now we've saved our project. Let's go and have a look at our video. Alright, and that completes our tutorial. Thank you for watching YouTube. I hope you learned something. I hope this does help you out. If it does, please do consider subscribing to this channel and do give me a thumbs up if you did like this and you want to see more tutorials like this in the future. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Until next time, goodbye.